Hey, 2001 GSXR 1000 science experiment gone wrong. Just kidding. It's really a work in progress, and I am making progress. So I just want to help anyone out there who's having issues with their TPS sensor. Okay, you don't even want to know what I went through with this bike, but long story short, these are O3 throttle bodies. I thought they were causing my problem. It turns out my TPS sensor was actually the problem, and you may or may not be able to see it very well here. So the bike was running incredibly rich. I mean, just blowing not black smoke, but black soot. And I've actually cleaned this up, so it was much worse than that. But anyways, yeah, so just running real rough and rich. And I changed the plugs. I messed with the STVA here and these everything I could think of that would, I even pulled out the injectors, which are down here. And by the way, if you ever pull the injectors, pay attention to what color goes where. Just for reference, the easiest way to tell is this gray wire is sort of the reference wire, if you will. There's the first one is, hold on, now I can't even see. Okay, so the first one's gray and white. The second one is gray and black. The third one, or cylinder 3 if you will, is gray and yellow, and cylinder 4 is gray and red. So I ended up reversing those, which obviously made my problem worse. But when I figured that out, I came back and finally figured out it was my TPS sensor. So the TPS is supposed to, don't quote me on this, but it's supposed to be 1.1 ohms closed, and I believe it's 4.2 or 4.3 ohms with the throttle wide open. And the way to test that is to pull the pigtail here, and you measure the resistance on the yellow and black wire of the pigtail going to the sensor. And so yeah, and I just took a couple alligator clips, clipped them to the inside of that pigtail, and then clipped the other ones to my multimeter, and then just rotated the throttle and watched the resistance values go up. Long story short, they were off by 1.5 volts. And the strange thing is that this TPS sensor would not adjust to the, did I say volt? Like 1.5 or 1 ohm to 1.5 ohms. It was off, not volts. But the strange thing is, when I tried to adjust the TPS sensor, because you back this screw out down here, and there's a little slide that you can adjust it to get the proper resistance. Well, maxed out all the way, it still would not give me the proper resistance. Ironically, when I backed the screw out even further and the TPS sensor was kind of, I guess, kicked out a little bit, it suddenly went to the proper resistance. And so, knowing that I couldn't tighten the screw down because that threw the values off, that's why you see all this goop. I don't know if I can get it, but that's why you see all this goop in here. It's actually silicone, so I kind of siliconed it right in place. I probably just need a new TPS sensor, but it's working, so I'm not going to mess with it. So if your bike is running really rich, it's just one thing to consider and one way to test it. So hope that helps someone. I've got a ton of help from the Gixxer.com forum and YouTube videos, so hoping I can give some of that help back. All right.